Well, I mean, what is that? The fifth, the sixth fighter connected closely to Canelo team. Reynoso, Eddie Reynoso, his family butchers attached to the side of the gym, that have failed a drug test or something here or other. And as we know, the water tablets, diuretics, however you want to pronounce it, yes, there's that part of them that helps make weight. But we know why, that camp is using it. Like, they have pretty much been given a green light to feel like they can do whatever they want to do. You know what I mean? I think Victor Conte, didn't he come out and say that it was herbal tea? That's what Mike Coppinger sent to me anyway. In his article, herbal tea. That's a new one, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, for me, I can just confidently say, and I have a great deal of self-gratification that I can say it with my whole heart, and if I'm lying, I'm dying, that I have operated 16, 17-year boxing career. You know what I mean? I bounced through the amateurs. I've gone all the way to win a world title as a pro. I'm not taking anything performance enhancing related. I've never stressed when I'm taking a drugs test. I've never, whatever. And I can confidently and comfortably say that with conviction. And clearly a lot of them fighters in their neck of the woods can't. I think it's quite obvious that their whole team needs calling into serious questioning, which they won't do because, them sides, they generate a lot more money than other corners of the sport. But I think Eddie Reynoso and that whole setup, and I know in their heads they're probably going to say stuff like to sort of, how to word it, so they can sleep at night, they'll probably be going along the narrative of, well, everyone's doing it, we got to do it to stay competitive. Well, no, not everyone is doing it, you know what I mean? They have the best scientists, the best lab experts, the best nutritionists on payroll, where they know that they're getting everything they need to get out of their system. So when there's traces of certain stuff at certain points, and they're going, well, that trace wouldn't have nowhere near enough, and you got Maurizio Solomon, the WBC, saying, oh yes, they can have Mexican meat in the system, Calembutro, just because that amount I've been told won't. Yeah, but that time, at the time of testing, bear in mind, one thing we do know about drugs cheats, is it's not just the taking drugs they take into consideration, it's the passing the drugs test when they're doing it. Do you know what I mean? So anytime they get tested, it's only ever going to be a minuscule trace because they fucked up to get caught. Let's be real. I mean, you can go watch the Icarus documentary that I can only stomach about 13 minutes of before I had to turn it off, where he shows how easy it is to do all of this shit, basically. And I haven't got the most knowledge in it because I don't research too much, because like I said, it would piss me off so much to the point of I'd start thinking, now, fuck this. Let me go get my little injections each fucking month. Do you know what I mean? Whatever they're doing, I have no clue. But when you have certain camps, and why is it always like one camp fighter goes and then there's always more from that camp? Do you know what I mean? How many fighters out of Steel City have popped? Zero. None. A big fat zero. Because you know what would happen? You see, if any fighter in this gym failed a drugs test, Grant would kick them out the gym. They'd be gone. Like, a billion %. There would be no way he would align his name with that reputation. They would be gone. He would turn their back on him because he wouldn't have had no involvement. When you got fighters consistently failing drugs tests, their trainer puts them on a wage and keeps training them all through it. Like, come on. And one thing I will say, is we are boxers. Very few boxers have gone out there and learned and researched the best way to get it in your system, get it out your system in time, to mask it, X, Y, Z. It's always coming from a place of power, a place of infrastructure, a place of knowledge, right? So it's not even the fighters that should be getting the punishment the same way. It should be the coaches. It should be the nutritionists, the strength and conditioning people. They're the people that you see there puffing their chest out all fight weeks and wearing their team tracksuits. Because these are the people that are really doing it, and it's disgusting because, yes, the fighter is implicit in it. But I, as a fighter, know hundreds of fighters that if I had a conversation, I can tell straight away they know nothing about any of this shit. Do you know what I mean? We're uneducated on it. We're not scientists. We're not fucking lab experts. We don't know that certain vitamins will push out certain things, but that's why that's banned. We don't know that certain methods are put in something. We have no clue. So you got to start looking above the fighter, like seriously. Eddie Reynoso is clearly one of the biggest cheats in boxing. Like, let's be real. You can't have 5 or 6 boxers in a 2-year period fail drugs test. That is fucking crazy. Like, let's be real. Like, that is disgusting. Like, how is he not getting some serious stick for this? Like, he is, but they just ignore it. Do you know what I mean? And turn up smiling because they got Canelo. Do you know what I mean? Me as a fighter, I think it's disgusting. And we was having this, I called an emergency a Twitter meeting yesterday on Twitter Spaces, right? And what I was saying is, see me as a clean fighter that can confidently say, if I'm lying, I'm dying, or my two babies, wherever they might be standing right now, will drop dead where they fall, yeah? I have never taken a performance-enhancing drug. I would rather the governing bodies, I would rather the Board of Boxing Control just say, do you know what? This pandemic of drugs cheats is clearly uncontrollable. Do you know what? Go out and find whatever you can do to get you prepared for a fight. I would rather that, genuinely, Oscar. I'd rather you just open green light for everyone. And then someone said, oh, but then people are going to die. Well, people are going to die when one person's juiced up to the max and the other person is not. That's more dangerous than two people. Do you know what I mean? When they're doing mad rehydration things, they got IV drips in their hotel rooms, XYZ. That's when the disparity is going to be. And that's when someone's going to get seriously hurt. And everyone will go, oh, well, but then it'll just mean the people that have got access to the best things will have the advantage. Well, clearly, the people with the best things have got the advantage right now. Do you know what I mean? Because they are cheating at a scale that, like, we can't even comprehend. And I know Boxing News put an article out after Martinez failed. Bear in mind, Martinez failed a drug test after he boxed my brother for clenbuterol, which is like a super steroid for boxers and will do a lot of good things for you. Do you know what I mean? Whether it comes to generating power, the efficiency of it, XYZ. And the same thing that Canelo got a 6-month ban for. And then I think, I don't want to misquote, but I don't think it was Neri, was it Vasquez or another one of the fighters? Vargas, yeah, that's what I think it was, yeah. So I didn't want to quote the wrong person. But clearly the best setups have access to these things. And Boxing News put an article out where they had conversations. Bear in mind, this is Boxing News, so I hold as a fairly level of reputable boxing source. Even though these people did not want to put their name to it, yeah, sparring partners with them say that the gyms would get cleared so they could administer these sort of stuff, and that Eddie Reynoso would go around. You can find this article, by the way. I only read it yesterday. Again, but people in their gym go, oh, Eddie Reynoso laughs at how easy it is to pass drugs tests and that how easy it is to do, and that could be pulled from anywhere. But all I'm saying is, I genuinely think whoever wrote that for Boxing News would have some sort of decency to make sure that it was at least a kind of credible source. You know what I mean? It's not going to be, an alcoholic that tunes in to watch Anthony Joshua versus fucking whoever he's fighting on the pub, and that's his boxing extent of knowledge. You know what I mean? These are going to be to have a line of conversation with a Boxing News journalist, reputable one as well. But us as the clean fighters just have to hope and pray that we don't ever get in the ring with these people. But you see me, like I even said on Twitter yesterday, and I genuinely mean this, when I fight Martinez, don't even bother drugs testing him, because they're just too clever to get around him anyway. Yeah, don't bother drugs testing him. Let him have whatever he wants. Let him do whatever he wants. Clenbuterol, Enbuterol, whatever uterol. Yeah, I do not care, because what I work with, my feet, my reactions, my brain, my IQ, my reading body languages when they're telling that they're going to throw a shot, when I can see the belief draining from them, all these things that I'm picking up, no drug in this world is going to help me with. Maybe Adderall, you know what I mean? Maybe Adderall. But I had a problem with that when I was going through GCSEs, A-levels and uni, and everyone was on that, do you know what I mean? And I never touched that, because I respect the game. I wouldn't even take a Viagra to fuck a bird. How about that? Because I respect the game too much. I don't need it, do you know what I mean? I don't need it in boxing, I don't need it in my sex life, I don't need it in my uni life with Adderall, and I don't need performance-enhancing drugs. I get my sense of self-belief in the fact that I can go anywhere and do anything in this world of boxing without needing to cheat. Do you know what I mean? But these fighters, you know what I mean? I don't know how they sleep at night. They probably always warrant it with, oh, well, everyone else is doing it, everyone else is doing it, everyone else is doing it. But for me, they're all scumbags. And, like, I've been drug tested, I think, 9-10 times. And I've never found nothing. How many articles have you seen? Oh, Sonny had this in his system, but oh, don't worry, it's only a trace. Do you know what I mean? No, because it doesn't exist, because it's not in my system. Do you know what I mean? I haven't taken water tablets, I know they're banned. Do you know what I mean? I don't walk around like certain Yorkshire fighters with loads of packs of Sudafed. You know what I mean? And thyroid treatments, XYZ, like I know other Yorkshire fighters do. Not to name no names, not to point no fingers do. But it's what happens, and it's disgusting. I don't like it. I can't stand it. If I knew someone was doing something, like with personal They wouldn't be my people no more. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have such a stance in it. We're not running a bit faster. We're not throwing a shot put a bit further or lifting a slightly heavier weight. We are risking people's lives, their brain cells that they never get back. Some people get in a fight and after a fight are never the same person for one reason or another, for many a different reason as well. So we're playing with people's lives here. And until people get actually held accountable, until these trainers and managers that all their fighters seem to pop on a consistent, another Reynoso fighter, like, what? Do you know what I mean? Like, am I the only one that's seeing this? Or is there such a taboo around drugs, cheating in boxing that we're not allowed to speak about it? I mean, Sha'Carri Richardson, or whatever her last name is, I think that's it, Sha'Carri anyway, it's definitely her first name. She got done for smoking a spliff and missed out on the Olympics that she'd qualified for. Like, come on, that's going to make her slower, not faster. What the fuck? But then you have Martinez, who gets out the fight or fucking low blowing Charlie when he was on the floor in the process of bashing him up. Oh, he's got it. But that's all right. You know what I mean? That's fine. Like, what? Just because Canelo can't get caught on the same drug and get banned again because it's bad for business, you know what I mean? So they've just had a green light over there. Bear in mind, I always thought this was taking the piss, but it's not. Reynoso's brother owns the butchers that supplies all their meat. So they can definitely, with all their millions, source uncontaminated meat, get it tested. Like, I have to go through my life and make sure that I'm not having no drinks contaminated, no food contaminated, no taking things I'm not supposed to. So why do these lot not have the same thing? Like, I bet fucking this water tablet will be excused some which way. I bet you. I bet they'll find a way to excuse it some which way. But it's just disgusting. I don't like it. I don't stand for it. I don't need it myself personally. And I get very passionate about it. And the problem is, the reason why there'll be some things I say that make me seem uneducated on the subject is because I choose to not get too educated on this subject, because otherwise it will piss me off more. Do you know what I mean? I already know how easy it is to pass drugs test. I already know that if you load up on vitamin B1, 2 and water load this and that and have a water tablet there, you can get anything out your system. And most things only stay in your system for 48 hours in urine testing anyway. It's like, it's just fucked. The whole sport is fucked, you know what I mean? But let us all do it then. Because them over there, the premier, like Canelo is the biggest name in world boxing. And his trainer, who got nominated Trainer of the Year for like the last couple of years, whatever, is clearly, and I'm not just making it up, it's not just slander. How many fighters is it that are connected to him directly that have done it and are working? I don't even know, is it Victor Conte that's working with them over there? Is it? Yeah, you're nodding, so that's what I've heard, but like I said, I don't research it because it pissed me off that much.
Yeah, I'll say I'm taking a lot of information from, again, Twitter, essentially. Yeah. So that's what I mean, yeah. So like you say, this isn't, quote, word for word sort of things, but I'm nodding my head and you're saying these things out of what we've heard through the grapevine. But the end of the story is, and look, I'm just going to say it now, so you will fight Martinez at some point. He's been involved in training role and managerially with Eddie Reynoso before. But you said you don't mind if he's juiced up, to quote.
But they're going to be anyway.
But why do you have to be? Because it's almost like you're now playing a saviour role. Oh, fine, let him take all the drugs and then I'll beat him, and then we can just say, oh yeah, look, who's going to take drugs now? Because you still ain't going to fucking beat me. So it's almost like, why should you have to play the hero role though? Why is that the case?
Quite simply, because no one really cares. The fans don't care. The promoters don't care.
I think the fact...
No, they don't. And I'll tell you why. The fans don't care. The promoters don't care. The managers don't care. The only people that really care are the trainers that I get up against it and the fighters that are up against it. We're the only people that care. Do you know what I mean? And I'm being genuine with you. Like, no one cares. And we can look at countless examples of how no one cares. Like, I don't even want to start calling, but Martinez, we'll just use him because he's the one in front of me, and Canelo and their team. Martinez, no contested against Charlie, which he should have got disqualified, let's be real. Roy Jones had his first loss in his record for something not even as bad as that, right? And he was winning up the same way that Martinez was, let's be real. And he failed a drugs test. And then because a boxing governing body decided that they're not going to let that failed drugs test impact that same fighter fighting for the vacant title in the 6-month period, that it was just okay, swept under the carpet. So they don't care. The trainer over there and the training team and the fighters, they don't care. the fans still tune in and will still tweet me saying Martinez is going to knock me out, look how good he is, look how powerful he is. They don't care. So I could sit here and hold sour grapes and go, I'm not going to fight him, but he's the only fight I want to fight. And let him have anything he wants. Don't put no drugs testing near him. I'll do all my drugs tests and I don't care because I'll pass them standing on my head. Don't need to sweat. But, like, just because, like I said again, just because you pass a drugs test first and foremost, clearly doesn't mean you're clean. Look when Miller failed for Joshua and he failed 3 different drugs tests in a 10-day period. On one of the drugs tests, he failed for these 3 substances. In the next, he failed for like 2 substances, but one of them weren't in the first one, but then one of them weren't. Do you know what I mean? It weren't like the 3 drug tests were consistent. He failed on all 3 of these things 3 times. No, every drug test had different readings. With everyone was missing out something that something else had at one point. Do you know what I mean? So it's clearly so easy to get these things in and out of your system. Do you know what I mean? And get the benefits from them. So you might as well just green light it until we find a better solution, because you might as well just let everyone do it. Then the ring will genuinely be safer in my eyes. And people are saying no, it won't, because everyone will be... At least everyone will have that little bit more hydration, that little bit more strength, that little bit more power, that little bit more resistance. You know what I mean? At least everyone will have the things out there in this world that can make someone a superhuman. We're boxers. We should be the ones that are allowed to be superhuman. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's be real. Or make a league where there's people that do take whatever they want and fight each other, or once they get the banned substance, they go into that league, they go into that different rankings, the non-clean rankings, and they leave all the ones that have never found a drugs test, which still isn't foolproof, because as we know, as I said, it's not hard to pass a drugs test, allegedly. So why am I going to be the saving grace? I want my legacy, I want that big name. I will go all the way through that camp, I will call him in his face a drugs cheat, I will point at Reynoso and say he's a disgrace to boxing. Because I'm not one of these taboo that, you can't say that, you can't say that, Someone was saying, so you're going to get sued. But I'm not lying about anything. I'm just looking at articles that have come out and test result findings that have come out that are all connected to one man on one team. Like, what? I can only look at my 17 years of experience and know that I don't know one that's taken anything knowingly in my immediate circles, and no one's ever found a drugs test. My brother's never found a drugs test. He won a world title. I won a world title, never found a drugs test. Dalton never found a drugs test. The people around me have never done it. Do you know what I mean? So them not doing it on a consistent basis, every 4 or 5 months there's a Reynoso fighter that's popping. Like, if anyone cares about it, he should be not being able to train fighters. If anyone cares about it, he should not be able to be managing fighters. But no, instead, they're giving someone the boxer of the year who failed a drugs test last year. They're giving a trainer of the year who all fighters he's connected with failed a drugs test. It's like, we clearly don't care. And then you have fighters that come out saying mental health issues and pull out of a fight. Why is that, do you think? I'm very suspect to these sort of issues. And I know that when you use the word mental health, that no one can question it nowadays. And I'm very aware of that. And I know it's a very provocative subject to speak on, but I know people that really do suffer with mental health in real life, and it's a burden to them. It's a big burden. A lot of the times they don't want to tell people about it because it's a real burden to their life. Do you know what I mean? But you have the other people that want to pull out of a fight because, you know what, there's certain things that you can't get banned for if you're not got a fight coming up, etc., in different governing bodies and whatnot. So it's just interesting that some people pull out of a fight. Bear in mind, in the space of 12 months, they went from being a skinny little boy to having shoulders twice the size of Luke Campbell's, with like a triangle back, ripped to shreds, and now got the knockout power where they're icing people every time they look at them. Don't get me wrong, they could punch before, but still, the strength. He used to turn his back and put his knee up when he's fighting. Obviously, we're talking about Garcia here. But in 12 months, became a superhuman. Now his mental health's affected, pulled out of fights, but then he comes straight back after having a little holiday with his missus on the beach, saying he wants the best fighters and the biggest fighters. It's like, there's a lot that doesn't make sense. I mean, in football terms, the reason why you never hear about footballers failing drugs tests is because when they do, they get injured for the next 18 months. Do you know what I mean? It's all kept under in-house. And a lot of people, fights will only get publicly deemed as drugs cheat ban. People will be serving shadow 6 and 12 months bans up all around the world. All around the world. And if you go on UCAD, you can actually see the names of British fighters currently serving bans. But the moment they've come off their ban, it gets redacted. Do you know what I mean? So if a fighter pulls out of a fight for whatever reason, then the reason is not that they pulled out for failing a drugs test and they benched themselves for 6, 12, 18 months, and then they come back like they was injured or nothing ever happened or the mental health issues, you know what I mean? This is the world we live in. It's a disgusting, disgusting business, you know what I mean? And for me, all that drugs cheating is it's horrible. Like, The moment I feel the need that I'm not good enough to beat someone, I need to put something in my body, I need to take a tablet, I need to inject something, I need to do the IV drip, I need to give gloves that I'm wearing a certain type of gloves, but my opponent who's getting given the same gloves as mine, sponsored but wearing a different model shape with more padding in. So the moment I feel the need to do any of that, Oscar, I might as well sack it in and quit. I get my confidence knowing that I'm doing everything by the book. I like things being fair. When I came out the ring to 120 and 108 to Maruti, I was the first person in the world to say that was not right. Do you know what I mean? The first person on this earth, because I like fairness. I like it being competitive and everyone having a chance to change their life. And when you've got certain people over certain parts of the world that have got the best fucking scientists, we have them over here as well. We know we have some gyms over here always connected with popping drugs and whatnot. But until the governing body cares about it, until the fans care about it, boycott it, literally blacklist fighters, no, we do not even want to see this fighter on the card. As soon as someone comes out at 9 o'clock and it's a drugs cheat, everyone goes to the bar and makes it empty, no one watches and no one buys their tickets. Until you lot care, why should I care? Because I've fought in 41 amateur fights and 16 pro fights, and I've sparred people on a consistent basis. I'm a big sparrer throughout my whole life as a boxer. Is there any chance you think, Oscar, I'm asking you a question, that do you think that I've never been in the ring with a drugs cheat? Mathematically. I've been in the ring with hundreds, if not thousands of boxers. Do you think anyone's ever had drugs in the ring with me?
Yes.
Statistically?
Yes.
Statistically.
Yeah.
Impossible to not. So just because they're not failing drugs tests or not getting pulled up left, right and centre, doesn't mean they're not there. So you might as well say, Sonny, do you know what? You've got bad wrist or you've got a bad ankle. Go and take some human growth hormone to strengthen up those ligaments. Go and take this to make sure your cardio is a bit better. Go and take this, At least I can then close the gap on what everyone else is doing. But until then, I'm just going to keep boxing the way I do. You're not going to see me get in the wars with none of these superhumans that knock everyone out. I'm just going to frustrate them and have a physical game of chess. And yeah, you might call it running. You might have fighters going, fight me Mexican style. You chicken, you run around. Yeah, but I'm not trying to die in the ring because you want to take fucking steroids. And I'm not saying anyone perhaps that I've fought, but all I'm saying is statistically, the thousands of people I've been in the ring with throughout my life, there's got to be at least one person, do you know what I mean? Statistically, do you know what I mean? So it's disgusting. Like someone said on my Twitter space yesterday that, Reynoso should have a 12-month ban at this period. What? So he can just train him in the gym, get someone else to do their corner and sit ringside. You know what I mean? This is not good enough. Put these lot on lie detector tests. Put them on open trials. We are boxing where everything's done publicly, yeah, until it's something to do with something else. Do you know what I mean? And then everything's done in quiet, hush-hush behind the scenes. Put them on open trials and see them sweat. Ask them questions. Have you ever done this? Get witnesses in. Get people that stand against them. And let's do some trials. Let's get a judge, a jury, an executioner. Let's make it proper. Do you know what I mean? It's disgusting, and we could speak about this all day. And like I said, there's a lot of things that people that are very versed and very educated on this matter will probably be going, he's chatting shit about this, he don't know anything about that. And you're probably right, because like I said, I choose not to get educated. Yeah, I've got space in my brain where I can learn things, do you know what I mean? And I can get quite deep into things and remember them. But I choose not to educate myself on this side of the world because it will probably make me want to stop boxing, if not start cheating myself. So I don't do it, do you know what I mean? I just stay away from it. I live whatever I live. I eat my McVitie's gold bars once every day after training, and that's where I get my power from. I don't need Durex to mask whatever else I've got in this. I don't need Clenbuterol or Winstrol or Nandrolinine or whatever the names of the ones that have been caught. And you've got to remember, there is still substances that we can't even trace that are known to performance enhance. Do you know what I mean? There's still like 40, 50 performance enhancing drugs that we can't trace. And I know that. Do you know what I mean? There'll be certain technology in corners of the world. I don't know, maybe Japan, maybe there, maybe America, maybe corners that we can't reach, maybe Mexico, that we don't even know this thing, this component, this substance even exists. So how are we testing for something that we over here don't know exists, that they keep them right under wraps? I like natural stuff. You know what I mean? If you're using natural herbs and remedies and that's come off the ground, off the land, but then some of them are banned. But other people are injecting and finding a way to get out of the system. So it's just speechless, to be honest. The fact that I will say time and time again, and people will say, you can't just say that that team, I have questions on everyone that goes in that team because it's clear what goes on there. How the fighters develop in such a short period of time, how their body shape changes, how their physiological structure changes, like, so there has to be questions on them. But there isn't, because what it all boils down to, Oscar, that no one cares. No one.
Well, you know what, when you said the point about, and I just do quickly want to say this, and you said the fans don't care, I know the fans do. I suppose there's a difference between caring and making a stand. Like if you were to ask every single boxing fan last night who read that statement about Oscar Valdez or read the news breaking at the time, they would say, I don't want this to happen, I wish this wasn't in our sport. But I suppose there is a difference between being against it and making a stand. So yes, you're right when you say, okay, why don't everyone go to the bar then when this person's fighting? That's what I was saying. The fans do care. There's a difference between caring and making a standpoint, essentially.
If everyone got pure blacklisted, spat on whilst they were walking through, things chucked at them, like people in absolute outrage. You found a drugs test. We've been buying your tickets and tuning in and talking to you about to our mates and how good of a fighter you are, and you've embarrassed me because you're a drugs cheat doing it all. If that was the actual general public stance, then people might think twice. Like, if your record got stripped and when you found a drugs test, every penny you had to earn had to get paid back into a charity for fighters that get brain damage in boxing. If there was some serious things that go on, then I could say, yeah, okay, people care a bit. People don't care a bit. Like, Povetkin basically was a drug mule. Let's be real, like, and people still watch all these fights. They found how many times, whatever. Gerald Miller. He'll fight again if he wants to fight again after he served his, third consecutive ban. Like no one cares. Canelo had a 6-month ban for a performance-enhancing drug. And then they pretty much said, oh, look, us lot are going to be taken over here anyway, so if you keep banning us, you're just going to, you know what I mean? It's not going to be a good look, so just let us lot do it. And then, and they changed their measurements, and which they could say, oh, it's just a trace. But you're putting a little injection into a whole big body. Of course it's going to be a trace. Like, what are you expecting there to just be your blood 90% made up of a steroid? Obviously fucking not, do you know what I mean? It's a headache because, like, you'll ask me, but there's no right answer. There's no end of this conversation where we're going to be like, oh yeah, that's our course of action. Because, like I said, the only thing people care about in boxing really is money and entertainment. So, because that's the case, why not just let everyone do it? I know people think I'm just playing devil's advocate saying that and trying to be controversial, but I'm really, really not. Like, genuinely, I would rather, I can't even keep up, yeah? I got my blood tests done, and they told me I need to take these tablets. I'm talking like vitamin D tablets or, what else, like fish oils. I'm talking...
Like magnesium tablets and like shit like that.
Omega-3 fish oils, vitamin, I think... D, which one from the sun? Is that C or D?
Vitamin C.
Are you sure? Because vitamin D is Sunny Delight, innit?
Oh, vitamin D.
I think it's vitamin D. That's what my mate is called as well, Sunny D, just to let you know. So them things. And I can't even keep up with them, Oscar. So I wouldn't even be able to keep up with injecting anything. Honestly, my person wouldn't let me, so I'd still be getting it anyway. But at least I wouldn't feel cheated because I know that everyone's on everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, my brother put one tweet out when Martinez got done for that drugs cheat. I would have used that as, no wonder why he was bashing me up. The cunt had clenbuterol in his system. Do you know what I mean? But at least I wouldn't feel cheated because I know what I'm getting in the ring with. Do you know what I mean? So I genuinely would rather they just say, look, until we can get a better course of action, just everyone go do what you want to do. Because at least then everyone can find their own poison that they think's helping them. Do you know what I mean? At least then I could have the conscious choice whether I'll go find some supplements that are, you know what I mean?
You just told me you'd be a shit drug cheat. You wouldn't even be able to keep up, so...
I'd be terrible. I can't even eat breakfast every morning before I come to the gym. Like, I can't keep up with this sort of shit. Like, I'll forget every day, like, oh, fuck, I ain't took it again. Do you know what I mean? But there is them ones that'll be taking it in their left arse cheek. That's my right one off camera. That day. And then they've got to take this day. And then they've got to take a water tablet to flush it out this day. And they've got to do this to do it on that day. I'd be shit at that, I'll be real. But then again, I don't think I need it. Because I'm the best in the world without it. You know what I mean? So it doesn't make no difference to me. But at least I wouldn't feel cheated. At least I would know what we're getting with. And what we need to do, is stop making it a massive taboo. Talk about it. Make people accountable. Interview people and ask them straight up. Make them sweat. Press conferences. The promoter should be going, you failed a drugs test. Are you on it this time? Are you sure? Why did you do it last time? But no, it's not. It's never anything to do with that because it makes money, it makes sense. Whether or not it's risking people's lives. We are cannon fodder. We are, sources of entertainment, getting punched in the face and losing brain cells so people can sit behind the TV, comment positively or negatively on whether we're good or not, or we should be throwing a jab more, or we should be moving our head more, or we should have got fitter, or we should be in better shape. Like, people don't really care about us. They don't care about us one bit. The moment you lose and go sideways, you're a laughing stock, you're a meme. That's all that people care about, like, in the general consensus of things. Unless you know me personally or know him personally, or, do you know what I mean? People don't care. And people don't care if they're getting in with drug cheats. People don't care if you end up fucking paralyzed because you've taken too much. Like, they don't care. They might see a fighter who's had a tragic happen to them in the ring, and they might reshare it every time it pops up on their Twitter, like it, or praying for whoever. Oh, this is so sad. They don't care. Like, do you know what I mean? They don't care about us. We are meat. We are meat as long as we're good meat, and as long as we're not good meat, we'll get chucked in the bin and shelved. And that's by a promoter, that's by anyone. It's just what happens, you know what I mean? By the moment the boxing world turns his back on you, it's a very lonely, lonely place. So no one cares about us, you know what I mean? But more of the time, they only care about themselves and what's in their lives. They don't care about the footballers that they watch. It's just something that makes them seem interesting, being able to talk about boxing in barbershops and at the pub and making out they know everything about it, you know what I mean? But that's what a lot of people's interests are. Like little flash in the pan ones. So like I said, people don't care about it. The governing bodies don't care about it. The fucking world title sanctioning bodies don't care about it. So when you ask me, but why are you playing the hero? What else am I going to do? I ain't got no fucking choice, Oscar, to be honest. I ain't got no choice.
It's almost like one of them things every 3 months that, and I know this is so cliche, you shouldn't be used to seeing. Like, I saw it last night and I was disappointed because I like Oscar Valdez. I was a massive Oscar Valdez fan. And he's my namesake in boxing. I thought it's kind of cool, like Oscar Valdez, whatever. Yeah, I wasn't even shocked. And I know that's such a cliche because everyone says that, I'm not shocked. But I wasn't shocked. And I suppose that's all I can say. I just wasn't shocked.
And that's sad, but okay, you're a boxing fan as well as a media person. Don't you think if they just went, fuck it, everyone just go do what you want and get into the ring as however you see fit? Don't you think that would be fairer than what we're in right now? Do you not?
Because of the numbers of people that are getting popped, like you said, the likelihood of you being in the ring with someone who has been on drugs or is a drugs cheat is quite high, and it is the probability you definitely have. But the amount of people that have been popped compared to the amount of people that are on it is such a difference. Like the amount of people that have done it that haven't been popped. So you would essentially just be saying to everyone, do it, when there could be a wide range of fighters that aren't doing it that we don't know about. Because like you said, we are presuming there's a lot of people that aren't being caught. Maybe 95% of the drug cheats are being caught.
Yeah,
because it is a small percentage of boxers that are being caught in comparison to how many professional boxers are there in the world and how many have been caught.
Yeah, but this goes back to how easy it is to pass a drugs test, because the fighters that do it and do it regularly and consistently through their career pass loads of drugs tests until they fail. So for me, there's more of a chance that there's 95% of people taking drugs that are not getting caught than 95% of the people taking drugs getting caught, if that makes sense, if I worded that right. I don't know. But if you sniff a line of coke, you can get a 4-year ban. That's crazy. Shout out Liam Cameron. But if you're Canelo and you have a performance enhancing drug in your system, you get a 6-month ban, and any other bans of that same substance don't count because they changed the rule for you. It's crazy. Don't you think? When you really think about it, it's crazy, isn't it? And people just think I'm hating. People think I'm doing whatever. But just know that I care, but I don't really care that much, because my thing is that they could have every steroid in their world, the system. They're still not going to touch a layer glove on me enough times to win a fight, so it doesn't matter. So give them whatever they want. I'll stick to my, whatever, just natural Nando's and gold bars and a bit of water here and there, and I'll find my way to be in shape enough to win a world title and compete with the best with them. Just is what it is, but until you lot care, don't start expecting fighters to care. We're not going to miss out on paydays and legacy fights, and I believe in myself that I think anyone could have anything anyway, and I still beat them. I'd rather just know what they've got in their system. If everyone's a bit more open about it, Oh yeah, training camp's been really good. I mean, my course of clenbuterol and winstrol went great. I mean, shout out my strength and conditioning for that one. I would rather that, do you know what I mean, as a fighter? I would much rather that. I'll be very real, very, very real with you. But it's not the world we live in. You lot don't care. Them lot don't care. So how can I care? I can care all I want, but all I'm going to do is, like, let them win. If I start getting in the ring thinking, oh, because they're on that, they're going to beat me, or there's a potential of them being on that, they're going to beat me, that's nonsense. You know what I mean? I'm trying to avoid these fighters. I'll just fucking have them shadow boxing and running into the ropes and falling over their feet for 12 rounds. But then don't ask me why I don't stand there toe to toe and fight with these people. Don't ask me why I don't put my brain cells on risk every time just for exciting fights, come out all battered and bruised when I don't need to. Don't ask me them questions, because just know I'm doing it clean with my whole heart. I can say that. And how many fighters can? I don't know. Because a lot of fighters do some sort of grey area here, and anyway, I'll be perfectly real with you, but that's for them. I get great strength and great confidence out of the fact that I do not need to do anything apart from come to the gym, put the work in, and go home, rest, eat, and sleep. And I'm nice. That's it.
Mic drop. Sonny Edwards. That is over an hour, I think. I'm going to break this into two because the first bit was good quality stuff, and the second bit hopefully does the rounds a little bit, and people can perhaps start, like you said, people might not care, so it's a difficult one, but hopefully people can get more conversation about it, and something could happen. Like you said, it probably won't, but let's just see. Go on.
And if anyone disagrees with me, especially in the world of boxing, because it will be people on like Twitter or behind fake accounts and whatever that will openly. But if anyone disagrees with my stance on things, if anyone wants to talk about it, let's talk about it privately, publicly, whatever. You know what I mean? From these gyms that I allude to. If you want to sit down and let's talk about it, let's do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be educated on this. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I just think it's so blatant, yeah? And then when you've got the governing bodies in on it as well, giving passes to certain people, like, don't expect me to care or be quiet about it. You know what I mean? I might get blacklisted, I might get cancelled, but I don't think I will. I've got the best management team in the world, shout out MTK, so I think they'll always find me a bit of graft, a bit of work in the boxing world, even if it's just punditry and managing fighters or whatnot. They'll always find me a bit of graft. But just don't expect us to care about it. And one, like, I can't even be, nah, go on, just cut it there, go on.